This is Athens Cell Phone Electronics' first video. We're going to get into the YouTube scene. We're going to try to do some training videos to teach people some things about the internet, their safety, their cell phones, personal electronic devices, things like that. I hope you guys find these videos interesting, and I hope you excuse the amateur performance here, as this is actually the first video we're going to try to do and see how they go. Now, this video, we're going to go into things like YouTube, Google, Facebook, cover some of the safety and some of the concerns that people have about the internet. You know, a lot of people are out there are worried about the man, tracking their information, things like that. And I'm here to pose maybe that's not the only people you should be worried about. There are companies like Google that track things for sales information, things that they sell to other companies, but some of the information that they actually track and keep on you, and that someone can actually gain access to if they get your username, password, or steal your personal electronics device, might be pretty scary. So we're going to get into this training video. I'll be doing some stuff on the desktop. We'll be recording that so you can actually see the steps, how to access this stuff yourself, where to find it, and how to change some settings if you want to protect some of your information. I hope you find this helpful. Okay, we're going to log into Google Chrome here, and you can see my account up top. I'm currently logged in, and we're going to go ahead and click on my account and go to my account button. This will take you to your Google account settings. This is your control panel, your login and security and privacy settings, your privacy info, account preferences, and other information about your account. You can also do a security checkup and privacy checkup, find your phone if it's lost, or your account activity. My account activity is something we'll get into deeper. Let's go ahead and go to my account settings, and here we can manage our account access and security settings. Let's go to check out real quick some of the things that are in here. Here's our Google sign in. This has our password settings to sign into your Google account. You can see my password was last changed, and if I want to currently change my password, I can log into my account and I can create a new password if I think my password has been compromised or I want to change it for some other reason. Also, I can go down here and set up two-step verification. This uses an app on your device where you have to select the app also at the time you log in. We also have recovery options. If you forget your password, my current email and phone number that I can have my recovery options sent to. We have to log into our account again, and we can actually edit the email address. Now, if somebody steals your device or has access to your device, they can change this email address and your phone number and take full control of your Google account, locking you out. You don't have a way to gain access again because that information is going to the new phone number and email address that they've set. Phone number, I recommend a phone number and an email are both important for your recovery option, because if you lose access to an email or you lose access to a phone number, you're going to want some way to recover your password if you forget it or get locked out of your account. So it's important that people don't gain access to this information. Devices and notifications. This shows what devices have recently accessed your account and have accessed your security settings. And we can review the devices. You'll see the type of device and also where and when it accessed your account, right down to the type of device, the date, the location, and the IP address. The IP address is important because this IP address can track through the service provider directly, not just the city location or general area that it was accessed. Here you see it just accessed in Athens, Ohio, but with that IP address, the service provider can trace it to the exact modem that actually accessed the account, be it in a residence, a business, a hotel, or whatever that location was. Now on a cellular device, that IP address would actually trace straight to the phone and who owned it. So the IP address is an important bit of information and can actually track to right where the device was used, where the account was accessed at. And you'll see on each device this IP address is provided, whether it's a cell phone IP address, whether it is a business IP address, and all the information that's given about the device that was used. And we'll scroll through each device here and you can see all these settings come up. Not always do you get a location. If the location information is turned off on the device, it won't show the location. However, the IP address can still give the location through the service provider. Okay, let's go back. Now let's look at recent devices used. So my current device, this is what we're logged in, is my Windows laptop. I also used a tablet yesterday and an iPhone. You can see each device. Again, it gives the information, but it also goes a little more into detail which browsers were used, how long they were used for, the date again, the location again, where the device was used at. And we can see here I've got a device that's a suspicious device or a device I no longer use. I can actually see when this device was signed in, the location, the IP address. I can also remove this device if I no longer want this device on my account or if it shouldn't have been there. When I remove this device, it takes away the access from the Google account, signs it out on that device. So if I think my device has been compromised or a different device has been used that I logged in from, I can remove it, reset my password. I no longer have to worry about that device gaining access through stored passwords or anything on that device. This is my iPhone. Again, it shows everything I signed in with, where and when, and the IP address. And this goes on down through the list. And if I've lost a device, I can click on the lost device. It asks for my password. It gives me some options here to change the name of the device. I could change the password of the device. If everything looks good, I'm good to go. If something looks wrong, I can change my account password. I can also try calling the service provider. I could try calling the phone itself to see if it rings if somebody answers it. Now, here we've got security alert settings. This is a very important setting. Here we have critical security risk. Anytime Google thinks your account's been compromised, it'll send you an alert. You can get these via email and also text message. I recommend having the text message selected because when someone logs into your account, it's going to notify you by text and by email. Other alerts that are less critical, I would just do by email only. Further down, we have less secure apps and password settings, connected apps. Connected apps can be important because these are what other services and applications have access to your device. Okay, so let's look at the apps that we have. We've got Google Chrome, which has full access to the account. It would have access to all the stored information. I have an app here that is involved with my advertising. My LinkedIn account has access to my contacts, so my contacts from Google and LinkedIn are shared. Same thing with Twitter. Twitter has access to my contacts, and so does Facebook, and basic account information. I can go in and remove an individual app. If you see an app that you don't recognize as something that you don't use, you should remove it from the account. And you can hit the remove button and this will remove it from the account so that app no longer has access. Or if you have an old app that you've used that you no longer want on your account, you can remove it. Less secure apps. This is turned off on my account. You can use less secure apps that is not recommended by Google because Google doesn't recognize their security or they think that they compromise your security on the internet. If you have an app that's a custom app that doesn't have Google's security associated with it, you can checkmark that and use that. Now let's go do a privacy checkup. This is where you check the privacy of your account. You hit start now and it runs you through different settings like likes and subscribes, what people can see about your account. Keep all my likes private, keep all my saved playlists private, keep my subscriptions to other sites private. It also has your YouTube activity feeds, what's public and private there. You can go through and change each one of these settings by checking them or unchecking them. And as you go through each section of your privacy settings, then you hit next and it'll take you to the next section. Now the next one is manage my Google Photos settings. Uh, this adds some settings to how your pictures are stored on Google. You can group by similar faces. It actually uses facial recognition in all your photos to group them by who they are. Also, geotags. Now, geotags I recommend turning off if you don't want someone to know a particular location where you took videos. Let's say you have, or pictures of your kids at the park that they normally play at. You don't want a stalker or someone knowing where that location is. You turn that off, and it does not include the location information with your picture. Now, how people connect with you lets people who know your phone number find you through some of the Google apps, including Google Voice, some apps like that. You can have your number on there, and you can make it available to people to search your number and find other means and apps of connecting with you that you use on Google. Now is your Google Plus profile. If you have a Google Plus profile, which a lot of people do, especially a lot of businesses, you can share and store information on there where people can find you on Google Plus, where you can have basically like a blog with videos, photos. It kind of tracks all the different things that you do on Google, and you can choose what to make public and what to make private, so you can share them all in one place, from your photos, YouTube videos, plus ones, which are other people that you plus one their account and show other people that you share their information, you like what they're doing. Let's go to what others see about you. Now, this is my Google Plus profile, and here I can edit what is public and what is private. Now, currently, this is my business, and my work history, my contact information is private. I want that to be public so people can find my business, know how to reach me. So we'll change that. I also want people to know where I'm working at, so we'll make that public. Places, this is our address. We want to make that public as well. And you can go in and set any of these to public or private. This is our website link. We also have my birth date, things like that. We'll want to keep that private, so we'll keep that there. And then are also some store information, where we're currently located at, and the name of our business, what we do, and also our photo album. So we can go through and change each of those settings there. Let's go on down here, and we'll see Google Plus communities, the community settings that you can select here, and also photo and videos for Google Community. Shared endorsements is another section where you can endorse other people can endorse you, and those can be shared. You can go in and set those settings through the shared endorsement settings. We'll go ahead and go next. And now let's look at our personal information that is supposed to improve and help our Google experience, which it does. It's Google information that they collect to help customize your experience on the web, but it's also information like your location history, device information, video and audio activity, YouTube search history, YouTube watch history, that each one of these show what they actually do, including your browser history and activity from web and web apps is all stored. You can have your location history everywhere you go on your Google device. If you have your location turned on, that location history is saved, where you go, what times you're there. We'll get a little more into that. Device information. This information is useful because you know what devices are logged into your account, when they're logged into your account, the IP address. Voice and audio activity, anytime you use like Cortana, things like that, where you actually speak to the device or you voice text, it stores those files and what you say to use for the voice recognition. YouTube search history, everything you search for on YouTube, and what you've actually watched on YouTube, all those are saved as well. We'll go next, and we'll go ads and more things relative to you. This is information that Google tracks ads that you click on, things that you're interested in, to help your ads that are presented to you and things that you may like. So it presents more of those types of things to you. Let's go back to the account, and let's go to the actual activities and information that it stores and see what kind of things Google is saving about us. Now you get a little intro here the first time you go into each one of these that explains a little bit to you about what they do, how to put your Google data to work, your in control of your settings. You can turn them on, turn them off as you choose, which is a thing that most people don't know. Now here, let's look at, here's our activity for today. There's 29 items today, including Google Chrome and Maps. So here we see I visited my Google account as we were going through this video. We went through and visited About Me. It shows what we visited, the date, what device, what operating system, and we can go into our activity controls and control that information. We also visited Google Maps when we looked at the area that we were in today. So this shows the general map area of where we looked at, viewed areas around Athens County. And we can click on each one of these and you can see basically everything that we viewed on the internet through the web browser today, preparing for this video, is saved here. This is the general Athens area where our office is located. It saved that information. Now here we have Chrome. We used the maps. We also used our Chrome browser. Yesterday, we have a lot more information. We had 390 items on the web, and it goes through each item, listing them, what we actually used, which app, which web browser, what we looked at. And if we go to the details of those, you can see I was on the Google Play Store yesterday. I visited an app for Google My Business and installed it on my device. And if we click on the link, it'll actually take us to what we actually viewed yesterday. So someone potentially that has your device or has stolen your device can actually go through and look at every web page, every app, and everything that you visited through the device history that's saved on your device, including maps, searches, any item that you do on your Android phone or your computer that you use Google on and that your Google account is logged into. This information is saved from. So we can see all the different sites that I visited, including Facebook. I was on there yesterday. We used that app. So if I click here, we see that I visited my sister's webpage and some jewelry that she was making that she's put on Facebook. It actually takes us to the pictures, the pages, everything that we visited and viewed. All that information is stored. That can be kind of a scary thing for some people if you're visiting things you don't want someone to know about. Let's say you're looking into your boyfriend or girlfriend or what have you, or maybe doing some things that you shouldn't be doing on the internet. Well, you probably shouldn't be doing those anyway. So now let's go on here. We have our menu on the left where we can go to each area. Now let's go to delete an activity. Let's say we want to delete a particular day or a particular item or a week, a month, or all of time. We have those options here to delete the history that was stored on Google. So we can go in and set the date, what products we want to delete. It gives us a variety of everything that is saved, or we can delete all the products at one time. So let's go back. Let's delete today and let's see what happens. We're going to delete it. It's going to give us a little warning here. We can check that to not show it again. And now we'll delete the info. Let's go back and see if the info from today is there. Now you can see that the only thing that is stored on Google is yesterday. So we've deleted all the previous history from today. I could have deleted the last week, the last month, the entire year, or all of time and completely cleared out my Google history. Then this information is erased. Now, other Google activities, this is important. This is where your location history, where you go, what times you go there, where you travel to. So let's view this. Now, I only turned it on yesterday for one event, which was actually on the 7th. You can see there's no previous events. I can view which year I want to look at, and it saves your history forever as long as you do not clear it out or delete it. So let's go back to today and see what it shows us. Okay, we're going to click on today, or the 7th rather, and it shows that I was at Taco John's, the actual address I was at, the time, and information. Sorry about that, we had a customer walk in. It shows I was at Taco John's, the address, the actual time. Now, if I had my location history turned on the whole time, it would have shown place to place that I traveled throughout the day. I can delete an individual day or location. So let's delete today, and now that information is gone. Now I have no history of where I've been. If you keep this on and your location history is on your device, it'll show every place you go, what time you go there, where you travel from and to throughout the day, the week, the month, the year. You can also do a satellite view and actually see the actual area via satellite. Device activity. This is where our device settings are to show what devices we've used. Of course, we deleted that for the day, but we could go in here. It stores the contacts, calendars, apps, everything for that device. Google Play Sound and Search. This is where we use our voice to search for things. I currently have that turned off on my device, but if we had it on, all of our audio recordings and stuff would be there. Let's go on through here and look at some additional information. We can see through our Google activity. Let's see, YouTube feedback, which I don't currently store. Uh, Also, our past searches. We can download all of our past searches of anything that we've done on Google to archive that and store it, uh, as can anyone who has access to your device. Activity controls. This is where we turn on and off particular activities and what's stored about our device. We can click the button, turn it off. It will ask us if we want to pause the device. Now, pausing the device still leaves the old history there. So if you wanted to get rid of that, you would have to go in and delete that history. If we want to actually turn that activity on, we want to save those things, we click the switch and turn it back on, and then we would check mark what we want to include. And our activities are all stored for that particular setting. Now, our location history, this is where we turn it off and on for Google to save or not save our location history. We can turn our location history off and still use our location on our device to use things like maps and stuff like that, and it not be stored. Google Voice activity turned on and off, YouTube search, YouTube Watch, the videos you actually watch on YouTube. Now we have also related settings for Google Plus, shared endorsements. These are settings that are not found here. Now let's go to our Google Plus. I have a Google Plus account for the business, and this has all of our collections, communities, profile, events, people, settings, notifications. Here's where you can select who can view your information or your Google Plus profile. Only you, extended circles, your circles, uh, photos and videos, what you actually want to share on Google Plus. You can turn those things on and off here at this location. So if you want your YouTube videos and things to be shared, your photos, you can also select your profile, who can view it. Mine's currently set to public. I could set it to only me, public, or my circles, which are the friends and people that I've added. Each one of these things can be turned on and off. Stream, recent stream or single columns layouts of the screen size. You can set those up for desktop view and other settings here. Notifications. These are important, I think, so that you get notified about what's going on with your Google Plus profile, for it to push notifications to your device, things like that. So you know what's going on if people make comments on posts, people, photos, communities, polls. So you get updates of what's going on if you're into the Google profile. Uh, this is phone settings, what can be pushed to your phone, and also notification email that you receive. Your notifications that, and you can see it's pending verification. When you set up a new device or a new email, you need to verify that. So you would type that in, add that email address. Location sharing. This is the setting that shares your location with your Google Plus profile. You can see I don't have it shared on my Google Plus profile. You can turn that on and off if you want people to know where you are and what you're doing. This is your Google Plus privacy and search history, and manage your Google activity. You can access those settings through these two menus. We have advanced settings for circles and streaming and navigation that can be turned on. Also, other settings for endorsements, tagging. You can delete your Google account, your Google Plus profile here at this bottom menu. Let's say you don't want to use it anymore, you didn't know you had it, you want to get rid of it, you just simply go there, click delete, and it'll delete that profile. Now let's look at our menu here. We have some other settings, controlling your content, privacy. You can access those all through here. Let's look at our personal information, what Google knows about us. When we set up our account, they have the name, email addresses, phone number, date of birth, gender. I don't have my gender marked. Let's go ahead and check mark that to show you how these things change. We'll simply select what we want to use. Now let's go back to my personal information. You can see now it has my gender. About me, this is information I can put in. My profile, so you can go through and see each one of those where we made our other settings public earlier. These are the settings it changes in your Google Plus profile. And you can now see it has my gender, but I have it locked so that only I see it at the current time. You can see my birth date, my circles or people that I've selected can see. Let's go on down. This is our shared endorsements, blocking users. You can block an individual. So let's say someone's harassing you or there's a person you don't want to see your profile. You can go there and block that individual user. We can also change our location sharing, which I'm not currently doing, and search settings to manage how much information is saved. We want safe search turned on where adult content or certain things aren't revealed. How many different items do I want to come up per page? Privacy. We've got our current settings set to be private. You're speaking in voice, which I currently don't have on. Where results open. All those settings can be changed here. All right, so let's go on down and we're going to look at manage. You go back through, you've got add settings and control your content. This is where you control what content is saved. Now you can download a backup and archive of all current saved history. Anything that's on your Google account, you can save a copy of it for yourself and download it to your device and then clear out your history if you choose to. Assign account administrators. This can be an important feature for someone to help you get into your account if you need to. Say you forget your password, but remember that person will have access to all the same information that you do about your Google account. All right, here you set your language. You can also set your input tools, say your keyboard. We also have accessibility. This is for the visually or hearing impaired. You can go in and set some settings here. Your Google device storage. We have Google Drive. We'll do a later video about Google Drive, Google Photos, Gmail, and some safety things there. When we click on each one of these, it takes us to the settings about those accounts and the types of things. These are all what's stored in your Google storage or your photos, your email, and your Google Drive. We'll come on down here. Delete your account. This is where you would delete your entire Google account if you no longer want to use it. This deletes your Google Drive, your Gmail, your Google Plus. This will delete everything that you have on Google. Now keep in mind when you delete these things that they are backed up on additional servers. Google, I know we covered a lot of information there, and I hope we didn't rush things too quickly for you. I know a lot of you are saying, well, this stuff is there so that I can have a better experience on the internet, so that Google can tailor things to my needs. And this is true. And it can be a big thing. It can be handy. It can be a big plus. It can also be a problem. Let's say you have information, things that you do that, let's say you have a girlfriend or boyfriend or a husband or wife that is constantly wanting to know where you are, what you're doing. And you may be absolutely doing nothing wrong, or you may be doing things that you don't want people to know about. They can simply say, hey, can I use your phone for a minute? I'm going to call mom. I'm going to go in the other room. They can get on your device. And if you have your password saved for automatic login, which most of us do, because we know it's annoying to get on there and just click, enter our password in every time, they can go through there, they can get on your Google account, and they can see where you go, what you do, what you search, everything you do. So some people may not like this. Some people may want to turn those settings off so that information is not saved. Another way that this can be a problem is, let's say someone steals your device. Then they have access to everything on your device, including your accounts. And again, if you have automatic login and you save your passwords, which I recommend against, I recommend that you enter your password every time you log into an account. You tell your web browser, you tell your device not to save that password. That way, only you can get in and only you know the password. But that person would have access to all that information. They would know where you go, what you do, who you see, who you talk to. They would know the things that you do throughout the day. Like myself, I have a business. I make trips to the bank to make deposits. I don't want people to know when I do that. I don't want people to know all the places that I go, the friends that I see, because of safety concerns. I want those things to be private. I don't want someone to be lying in wait when I'm headed to the bank, what time I may go, those types of things. Also, people say, well, I have a password on my device. If my device gets lost, they can't get into it. I have a code. Well, I have a program that removes that code when customers bring a device in that they've forgotten their password. With the click of a button, I can remove that password on that lock screen and get into that device and regain them access to their device. There are also programmers that remove those passwords. These are devices and software that are intended for electronic stores like ourselves who repair cell phones, repair computers, those types of things for our customers. But also, you can bet that if there's a criminal element out there that wants to gain access to your credit card information or information about you, and they steal that device, they're going to spend the money or they're going to find free software out there to be able to access those things. So this could be a problem as well. Now, we did show in the video that you can turn those things off. I recommend if there are things that you don't want saved out there on the internet, that you don't want saved on Google or for people to be able to view, you turn those off. I recommend that if you want those things to be an aid to you, you turn those on. But the key thing is that you are in control. You have the ability to do that. Now, another thing to keep in mind is that not only do you have access to that, or whoever gains access to your account through your device or through your password, which I've seen a million times. Somebody's standing over your shoulder, you enter in your password to get into a device. Now they know your password, so they can get in. And if someone's wanting to get that information, they'll find a way to get it. Um, but also, any legitimate authority out there can obtain a warrant to obtain that information, and that information is stored out there on the internet. Google has it. And I was amazed the first time I found out about my Google account settings and the information that's saved. I went through and looked at a 2-year history of every single place that I went, what time, where I traveled from and to, the route that I took, what I searched for on the internet, the maps that I used to find my way there. All those things were stored for the last 2 years out there, and they can be a handy thing. Let's say, heaven forbid, your rich Aunt Martha, who you're the sole inheritance of her will, mysteriously passes away. And people look at you, and you were on a fishing trip and you're out in the woods alone for a day or two, and the authorities come to you and say, well, where were you at this date and time? Well, a lot of us don't always remember, but you could go back to your Google device and say, hey, here's where I went, here's where I stopped, here's who I talked to, and you have a complete history of everything you've done. So it could be handy in that regard too. Um, the key thing is, though, you have the ability to control it. You have the ability to delete it. Now, whether it is just deleted on your account and that information is stored out there by Google or other entities that they keep on their end that is not in your account, I don't know. I would say it's possible. Uh, is it likely? Who knows? But it is definitely something to think about. We're going to get into some other videos about how to protect yourself in other ways on Facebook, other apps that also save the same type of information. We're going to get into some other videos about how to protect yourself, how to keep your things like your location private, how to keep things like the things that you do private. So if you have any interest or anything that you want us to cover, let us know. Be sure to subscribe to our account if you want to see some of these additional videos that we're going to have coming up. And send us some comments if there's a particular interest or particular topics that you want us to cover. We'll get that information out there to you. Be sure to like the video if you liked it so that we know that you find this type of thing informative and want more, and we'll continue to make more videos like this. I hope we haven't gone on too long. We'll try to make some of the other videos a little shorter, make them more specific to individual topics like location privacy, app privacy, different things like that. Um, and if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them for us. Thank you.